Hey everyone, welcome back. This is Luis. I'm walking you again through this series of how I built an LLM-powered system that publishes my content semi-automatically. This is video number 13. I'm going to start talking on how I route events to the right handlers. So again, looking right now at the diagram that I architected for this solution, no AI was involved in this at all. This is all my work as far as determining what the different components were going to be and how they were going to interrelate. Again, I'm not going to walk into the different layers on this. We're going to focus on the heart of it all right here in the middle, which is the orchestration stack, which is exclusively has EventBridge and EventBridge rules. If this was not a self-run architecture and I was building this for someone else, depending on the size and complexity of the team, there probably wouldn't be an orchestration stack this way. The rules that I'm about to show you in walkthrough would have been at each one of the different stacks or divided up by maybe how the teams are managing a structure like this. But for my case, like I mentioned in the earlier videos, is that I want to have one place where I can go and have it be my control lever for the entire system. And that's my event bridge rules. It's an event driven system. So if I can have all my events in one place, I can control the entire system. And how I do that, we're going to go right into the code and see what that looks like. Here we are on VS Code. This is part of my repo on GitHub where I built out this entire stack. If you've been following along the videos there, this is all written in TypeScript CDK, that's Cloud Deployment Kit for AWS. What we're looking at right now is the actual orchestration stack itself. So if you look at my layout here, I have just from that diagram, each one of those gray boxes or colored boxes where all the different services were in were their own stacks. And the orchestration stack, I've kind of broken it out all on its own. I've got all these other stacks that manage different components of or functions of the system. But for this video here, we're just exclusively going to look at what's happening really here in this orchestration stack with the stack, DynamoDB, and patterns, because they play a big role in how to make this a lot easier to manage and run. So with the orchestration stack, very simple. Bring in the necessary libraries you have, create all the different lambdas that I'll be using or the different resources that I'll be using. So I've got the content table, DynamoDB. I've got the different functions that are going to be called by this lambda. Excuse me, not by this lambda, the different lambdas that are going to be called by this event bridge application. So create the orchestration stack, create an event bus, which is now my agent event bus. There is a default bus that AWS provides. What I learned a long way there is that S3 notifications have to go through the default bus and not through my custom bus. But other than S3 notifications, everything comes through this bus to get analyzed and determined what events need to be taking place. From there, the big worker, as you can see here, is DynamoDB Streams. This is where I create the pipeline where I have anytime an event, I don't want to use that word because that event means something very specific, especially for this video, is anytime there's a change in state in DynamoDB, by its own design, it has a stream or it has a notification that you can route to. In this case, I'm routing it to EventBridge so that we can capture that content or capture what the change or update was and then decide what to do with it. So that's what's happening here. We're establishing the DynamoDB stream and creating the pipeline over to EventBridge. As we scroll down, we've got these agent rules. We've got rules for each one of the different really lambdas that are going to be kicked off. So these rules are in themselves files, as you can see along the left-hand side here. And those rules are what have the criteria that justify or have to be proven correct in order for the event bridge to trigger the Lambda or invoke another type of action to take place. So that's really the big part here for the orchestration stack. Is that simple. DynamoDB Streams is my heavy lifter. It takes care a lot of the invocations that take place by way of letting, hey, EventBridge know something changed. EventBridge then invokes the appropriate Lambda. Now, With all of these rules that I've got going on, one way to kind of make this easier to code and manage is to use patterns. I had in a separate video where I talk on constructs and how that all plays in. If we remember that constructs are building blocks, patterns are how we can take those building blocks and actually build something with them. And it helps us build things quicker because pulling up now the event bridge patterns, these are reusable patterns. It's similar to the reusable Lambda. If you've sat through that video, anytime there's any type of repetition, you can create this pattern so that there's already a framework that you can use to pass to that event bridge rule. So, and I'll bring up one of the rules so you can see how this works. You see here, there's really two patterns, DynamoDB patterns, and then I scroll down and where are you? There you are. There's the S3 patterns. So what is happening S3 and what's happening in DynamoDB? That's all I have to keep track of, really, because those are the two services that generate the state changes that trigger things to happen. And it's all decided because of the workflow I have to have and that this has to support. So let's take a look here for just we'll grab any arbitrary one. What's happening in these patterns, I'm passing what the source is, detail type, what's the event's name, and what is being changed. In this case is approved and the scheduled date. So this is what happens when status is changed to approved. So that would initiate the publishing Lambda. If we take another one and see what's happening down in S3, we've got all these when an object is uploaded to a specific bucket and it now triggers a certain pattern for that. So if we, all of these are really revolving around the ingest Lambda. So let's head on over to the ingest Lambda and let's note that what is being passed in each one of these. If I go to my ingestion rules, you can see here, event pattern, I'm calling that pattern that I just created, and it brings all that information along with it. So it saves me a lot of time in having to build out all of that for every single rule. It streamlines the process. So constructs and patterns are something that I use extensively in the CDK to be able to facilitate good just management of the whole architecture. So that's what I want to talk on in this video. The next video is what happens when Bedrock returns garbage or, substandard workflows. I'll talk on how I intend to address those. But thanks a lot for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next video.